So this is screencast for those that have missed your first coaching session because of the backpack. So to begin with, quick overview of the assignments and how this unit is going to work. So it's broken down into 3 assignments. The first one is a screencast where you describe, explain, compare and contrast and evaluate roles, responsibilities, skills and techniques of a coach. It's quite a big assignment, but don't worry, we split it down in the lesson as well enough, and it's not that taxing that it should be pretty easy for you. Second one is the planning and delivery. So you'll do a minimum 45-minute sports session. We will decide who is coaching what in the next lesson for those that haven't already sorted that out. Then the final one is a reflective interview with you and your peers, analysing your performance. So as you can see, there are no written assignments as such for this unit to make sure that it's a practical unit and it remains as practical as possible. Okay, so again, aims and objectives, don't really need to go through that now. So what I wanted to do is take a minute to pause this video and then go through what is a coach. So what do you understand a coach to be? And then make all the relevant notes from that. So if you pause the video now. Okay, so hopefully you've made a nice spider diagram of what you believe a coach to be. The good quote that I have got is from Williams et al. 2010, who states that a coach is a person involved in the direction, instruction and training of the operations of a sports team or of individual sports people. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so on to the roles of a coach. So we have got okay, so again, on a sheet, make a note of what roles do you think a sports coach can take. A brief explanation of what you mean and then a spidergram map or whatever you feel like. So what do you think the roles of a coach should be? So if you pause the video again now and do that. Okay, so hopefully you've got now a nice role. And why? Because it's really important that we make sure that we discuss the key roles. So the key roles that we've got here, and the main ones that you'll be discussing in your assignments, is that of an innovator, motivator, manager, trainer, role model, friend, and educator. So moving on to the first one is an innovator. So again, pause the video, write down what do you think an innovator is, how does it help performance, and can you give an example of an innovator? So pause now. So hopefully now you've got your bits on an innovator. So again, this is what we discussed in the lesson. So an innovator is somebody that comes up with new and specific drills related to their team. So it's not generic that they can do throughout. A good example of this, I think, is Jose Mourinho, where he is able to adapt the playing style of his team to fit them and not the playing style that he believes is right and that fits everybody. So moving on is motivator. So again, pause it. What do you think a motivator is? How does it help performance being a motivator? And give an example. Pause. Okay, so this is what we put down as a motivator. And provider of praise and positive feedback is a kiss, kick, kiss. So what that means is you'll give something positive, followed by something that they can improve on, and then backing it up with another positive. So for instance, well done, you played well today, you made sure that you stuck with your player as much as you could. However, next time, make sure that you always stay goal side of him within the penalty area, because it will help prevent you from letting them score goals. Again though, however, you were really good in the air and made sure that you cleared the ball throughout. So there is your positive, your negative, and then your positive. So then have a watch of this video. I think this is a good one of a motivational coach. So next is a friend. Why does your coach have to be a friend? How does it help performance? And again, give an example. So pause now. Okay, so coaching as a friend is actually really important. So to make sure that you've got somebody that you're able to go to and have a chat to, not just about things related to the sport, but also if you've got any issues outside as to why you can't train, why you can't make that game, or why you're finding things a little bit challenging. So just making sure that the coach is approachable, but obviously they're not crossing that line and things are progressing more away from the professionalism that it should be. So next one, trainer, educator, instructor. So again, pause it, make your notes that you need, and then we'll go through onto the rest of the video. So pause now. Okay, so trainer, educator, instructor. It's really hard to discern the difference between these three. That's why they all go over under, it's why they all come under the same heading. Obviously, they all interlink and they have very similar personalities and characteristics. So yeah, you can read through this. And then moving on to the next one is a role model. So why is it important for a coach to be a role model? What is a role model? And can you give me an example? Pause now to make your notes. Okay, you're back with lovely notes taken. So have a watch of this video, see what you think. Is it a good role model? Is it a bad role model? Why is it good? If so, why is it bad? Etc. So these are the key notes. So again, if you want to make sure you pop these down, then press pause, but otherwise we are just going to whiz through, as I think everybody understands exactly what a role model is. So next is a manager. What is a manager? How does it help performance? And again, give me an example. So press pause now. Okay, you've got your notes on a manager. So moving through, we've put a manager as a person responsible for controlling and administrating a player or a group of players. So ultimately, this is a person that arranges your fixtures, make sure the transport's available, make sure you've got all of the kit ready, all of the background things that don't necessarily run, the things that you don't necessarily see as a player. So good, you can use anybody as an example for that one. There's a good example of a manager and why he's a good one, with lots of his trophies, league titles, etc. Okay, so they are our key points that we have made today. But to be a good coach, you need to make sure that obviously you are each one of those key parts. A manager should be on there as well, but I've missed that out. So it's the 6. So make sure you're always talking about the 6. Our manager should be on there. So the final thing I want you to do, this is the most important bit. So for the criteria, it states that you have to describe 3 roles of a coach, giving specific examples. So what we're going to go through now, as we did it with the other group, is really good managers. They have to be from different sports. It can't be 4 different football coaches. So if you are unsure of different coaches, then we can run through some now. I'm not sure of my spelling, so you might have to double check them. So for football, we've got Gareth Southgate. Rugby can be, there's loads of different ones. You've got the England head coach, so Eddie Jones would be a good one. Obviously biased, you've got Rob Baxter, the Exeter Chiefs coach, because I'm very biased towards, obviously, what's going on here? Exeter, because they're the best ever. So 3, doesn't have to be professional people. So for netball, you could have Carly Martin if you wanted to. So next one, you can go to athletics. There's 2 good ones. You can have Glenn Mills, who is was Usain Bolt's coach, or you've got Tony Minichiello, who was Jess Ennis's coach. Next one, so for tennis, you can have Ivan Lendl, who was Andy Murray's coach when he won at Wimbledon. You could also have Judy Murray, who was Andy's first coach, which is his mum. And then finally, where have we not gone? Hockey. You can have me, or you can have Nathan as we other college hockey people. If you don't fancy any of those and you want to go basketball, you've got Joe Mills. So there you go, there's 7 different sports with 7 coaches that you can use. They can be professional or non-professional, it's completely up to you. I would advise that you mix the both. So where it says for your 4 roles, I'd use 2 elite and 2 non-elite, as it makes the distinction part a lot easier, but we'll come on to that later. So that is pretty much the lesson in a nutshell. Any questions, please let me know. For further information, you've got the book chapter and the specification on Blackboard for you to have a peruse at your leisure. So make sure you've got all the notes down, as is important, as we won't really be covering it again in lessons.